Welcome. You're listening to the I'm Wired to Inspire podcast, creatively engineered by Nicole, the inspiration specialist. I'm Wired to Inspire is a powerfully packed podcast filled with inspiration and encouragement to get you through your day. It's designed to inspire you to live your authentic purpose. Now, stay tuned for your host, Nicole, the inspiration specialist, on today's episode of I'm Wired to Inspire.
Hey everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today on my podcast. I'm Nicole, the inspiration specialist, and I'm wired to inspire you to live your authentic purpose. Y'all, today I want to talk to you about something that I talked about one of my girls, and she was telling me about a situation, and she was like, because I just know I missed so many opportunities with this because I was disobedient when God told me to, when God told me to do this, and man, I just messed up. And I let her talk. I let her say everything she had to say. And I was like, yeah, I disagree with that. And she was like, wait, what? I said, I disagree with what you said. Because simply put, she explained the situation to me. And she said she felt God tell her to do this thing that she just didn't do, right? So upon, further explanation, I began to ascertain that she was not being disobedient. She simply just didn't listen. I want to just set somebody free today who needs to hear this, because a lot of you are struggling with things and you are feeling bad, like you missed opportunities in certain things because you were disobedient. Let me tell you what disobedience is. Disobedience is blatantly ignoring what God is telling you to do. Disobedience is when God says, hey, you need to send them $100. And you be like, I'm not sending them no $100. I'm not doing that. And you have that type of disposition as your response, versus God says send them, $100. And you're like, $100. You're like, ooh, okay, Lord. And then you kind of just don't listen. It's not that you're blatantly going against what he's saying. Like, I'm not going to do that because that's what you told me. But you're simply just not listening. When you are disobedient, it has a negative connotation because you are going out of your way not to do the thing that God wants you to do. And that's where the discrepancy comes in between the two. Sometimes it's hard for people to decipher between listening to God and being obedient to God. And so I had to explain to her, I'm like, now you're talking about a myriad of things that you're lacking and blessings you're not receiving because you were disobedient. You did not have a negative attitude. You were not trying to go against God when you didn't do what he told you to do. You just didn't listen to him. You heard him. You're like, oh, okay, God. Okay. All right. And you just didn't do it. That's different from, oh, no, I hear what you're saying, God, but I'm not doing that. I'm not giving her that. I'm not doing this for him. I'm not praying for them. I'm not going over there. I'm not, when you start doing that, that's when you're going to be in a world of trouble, because at the end of the day, you are going out of your way to not comply with God. But sometimes God will tell us to do something, y'all, and we just simply don't listen. It doesn't carry the same amount of weight. At the end of the day, though, we still just want to listen to what God tells us. But I feel like somebody needed to hear that message today, because you have still been toiling and you have still been very upset at yourself because you're like, man, I've been disobedient. No, learn the definition between the two. Maybe you just didn't listen. So for somebody listening right now, and God told you to do something and you didn't do it, you weren't being mean or cruel, you just really didn't do it. Maybe you were scared, or maybe you just was like, oh, okay, God, I'll get to it. How about whatever that last thing is God told you to do? If he told you to get somebody money, if he told you to call them, text them, pray for them, go see them, get them something, write them something, make them something, buy them something, whatever it is he told you to do. If he told you to just be there for them, he told you to just comfort them, whatever, help them. Go back to that last thing that you felt you missed because you were disobedient, but now you're realizing after listening to this message today, you were really just not listening because your heart was not impure when you didn't do it. You just simply didn't do it. Completely different conversation. I want you Sin what you got to sin. Do what you got to do. Say what you got to say. And go ahead and rectify that thing with God. And from now on, you work on immediate obedience. And I'm speaking to you from my own experience. Immediate obedience will change your life. Because here's the thing. God is the all-knowing one and the ever-present one, not us. So we don't know what other people are going through and what has to happen from your obedience. Okay? So for those of you who feel like you jacked things up and you have not listened, go ahead and listen, be obedient, walk it out. I don't care if the last thing God told you to do was 3 months ago. And again, you just either forgot or you got scared. Go back and do what he told you to do. That's a prophetic word. That's a rhema word for somebody today. If this is a word that's affecting you, hit me up. Podcast at I'mWiredToInspire.com. If you want to share with me your testimony and your story, and I'll be sure to post it. But I know for sure there are going to be some of you who listen to this and you are going to do what God is telling you to do finally on today. And guess what? They're going to call you, or their response is going to be life-changing. And I'll tell you this one last thing before I ride out. What's really awesome is, even if God told you to do it 6 months ago, even if God told you to do it 9 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, he will make it where if you are obedient today, not only will you eat the good of the land today, but he will make it where wherever they're at in life right now, what you do in this moment, in this hour, is still going to affect them, if not more deeply, when you do it today out of actual listening and obedience. So I hope that blessed you. And remember, obedience is greater than sacrifice. And there's a difference between listening and being obedient. I'm wired to inspire. I hope you are too.
Thanks for listening to I'm Wired to Inspire podcast at I'mWiredToInspire.com. If you enjoyed the show, spread the word and be sure to hit the 5-star rating on iTunes. For more information on this podcast and inspirational products and services, log on to I'mWiredToInspire.com. And remember to live your authentic purpose. Thanks again, and see you next time.